What's going on, you guys? So I can't go live until the cable company or internet company, whatever you call them today, comes out this week, later on this week. So I got to kind of do my videos this way. But I want to give you guys the premiere videos so you guys can have conversations amongst each other for a little bit, right? Because, I mean, if I had to go live now, it just won't be, it'll be messed up. It won't be the same. So hit that like button for your boy. You see the title of the video. We on Bushido Boxing TV. This is where we're going to be. But the card, the Gervonta Tank Davis, Hector Luis Garcia card, was supposed to be a showcase card. And the only person that showed up and showed out was Gervonta Tank Davis. In typical Tank fashion, he was losing the fight until, one punch changed the course of the fight. He stunned and blinded Hector Luis Garcia, literally, to the point where he didn't come out for the opening bell in the ninth round. So Gervonta Tank Davis hitting backwards flips. He's on cloud nine. Gervonta Tank Davis is a guy who starts off slow in fights. And he's a guy that definitely will lose some rounds. But he ends up figuring the guy out as the fight goes, right? Showing ring IQ. He figures the guys out. He figures their speed out. Figures out what they're doing. He gets his range together, right? And Gervonta Tank Davis ends up closing the show. It was simply just one punch. It wasn't a flat-out Deontay Wilder knockout, but it was a punch that just literally blinded Hector Luis Garcia. Very impressive from Gervonta Tank Davis. He's dangerous at any point of any fight. But when you're looking at the whole card as a whole, going into the Tank fight, fans was probably left a little like, wow, this isn't going as I expected. This isn't going as many expected. This isn't going how they expected it to go, right? Rashidi Ellis took his first loss against Raymond the Villain Villa. He came out there like a villain. He wasn't going to stop me. He was highly determined. He didn't have the best skill set, right? He wasn't the most skilled guy, but he had a lot of heart. And Speedy Rashidi just crumbled. And then that's another thing I noticed watching Speedy Rashidi. The speed of his punches never change. Everything is fast. Everything is the same power. It's nothing different. It's not a really good variety. And I noticed the same thing about Boots Ennis. These young fighters with all the flash and the fancy technique and the real quick speed and real twitchy and all that. But you need to see more dimensions to the game. But Speedy Rashidi took a loss to a guy that he was supposed to beat. Got dropped multiple times in the fight. Raymond Villa, the villain, won last night against Speedy Rashidi. And they was talking about a potential fight between him and Boots Ennis, and they was really building him up to be the next guys in line to face Errol Spence if they fought each other and whoever won, etc. But neither one of those dudes is ready for Errol Spence Jr. Neither one of them. Then we go to Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, right? Boo Boo Andrade was supposed to show up and show out against Desmond Nicholson. He showed up, but he didn't show out. Demetrius Andrade, he looked pretty bad in the fight. I'm a Boo Boo fan, right? Actually, I'm a fan of all these guys, but I got to be honest. We got to keep it 100 on what we saw. And hopefully they do better moving forward because they didn't look good tonight. Team A side didn't look necessarily good except for Tank Davis, but Tank Davis looked how he always looks in fights. Bad until he looks good. But Demetrius Andrade, his opponent, was a lot sturdier and a lot tougher than he thought. And the jump from 160 to 168 isn't like any of the other weight classes. This is the first real big jump as far as weight when we're talking weight classes. 60 to 68 is 8 pounds. So Demetrius Andrade didn't look good in the fight. And I think that if he was in there with a guy, and I'd rather talk about this stuff on the live stream, but I got to give it to you in monologue style. But a guy that's quick, that can get in the inside and really work the body, work the inside game. A guy that can fight great close quarters or to mid-range will give Boo Boo Andrade hella problems. A guy that can keep up with his foot speed and what he's doing in the ring, Boo Boo Andrade have a lot of problems. He may even have problems with a Caleb Plant or a David Benavidez if they catch him on the wrong night. You know what I'm saying? That's just based off what I saw. You're only good as your last fight. Desmond Nicholson was a lot tougher and a lot sturdy. Maybe it's the weight class. Maybe Demetrius Andrade may have to switch some things up moving forward. Not to say he looked bad, but he didn't look good either. He looks how Boo Boo always looks, kind of awkward. But one thing I noticed about Boo Boo Andrade is that he lacks that killer edge. I feel that he lacks the killer edge. When he needs to, it's something that you got to go for it. Go for the kill. And this is why I was telling you guys on the original channel, Bushido Boxing. Hopefully we can get it back running soon. But stopping guys is an art within itself. Knocking people out, going for the knockout, stopping a dude, and doing it on a consistent basis, that's an art within itself. Stopping a guy when you fighting a dude who's focused on you. It's not like it's a punch they didn't see coming sometimes. Sometimes you just get hit with shit you do see. But dudes still get you up out of there. They on survival mode when their defenses should be the most high unless they buzzed. And they still get up out of there. That's an art. Deontay Wilder is a expert knockout artist. Terrence Crawford is an expert knockout artist. They stop you. Once they smell blood, it's over. Gervonta Tank Davis. Once he hits you, it's over. Once he smells blood, it's likely over. Once Tank Davis gets you hurt, it's over. If you get hit with the right shot, you might go blind. But Boo Boo Andrade, he don't possess that type of one-punch power. He's going to have to level up his game, if I'm honest. Moving forward. Here at 168, fighting the likes of Benavidez, the likes of David Morrell, all these guys, he could possibly beat them. I'm not saying he can't beat them, but based off what I saw against a bigger Desmond Nicholson, who isn't nearly as skilled as Demetrius Andrade, but is tough. 2 of his losses out of his 5 now have come by the way of stoppage. But other than that, Boo Boo Andrade, he had a lot of work to do. He got a lot of work to do. At 168, he got some leveling up to do. He may have to make some adjustments to his approach, fighting these bigger guys, to where he can set up his some of his better work better. Because he can't be getting away with all that sloppy, clumsy looking stuff that he be doing. And I know he's a pretty awkward fighter, but he can't be getting away with that. Some of these bigger skilled dudes, the likes of Benavidez, the likes of Caleb Plant, right? I just don't see him being able to get away with it as much. But we're going to see if Boo Boo Andrade levels up. Because, like I said, you guys, this is supposed to be a showcase fight. It was supposed to be showcase night. But I didn't see a show. I didn't see a show from the A-side fighters. And then we go to Jaron Boots Ennis, right? The guy who said that he was going to steal the show. But he did anything but steal the show. Put up arguably his worst performance to date. Maybe Karen Kukachan was a lot more better than we thought. Maybe he was more prepared and knew what he was up against and prepared himself accordingly to deal with that is Jaron Boots Ennis. And he surprised us all. I think they underestimated this guy, Kukachan. I think everybody underestimated Kukachan, right? Kukachan was a really good fighter, really good footwork, showed some good durability. If he could punch, if he was a guy that could punch, and actually he was on a 4-fight knockout streak going on into the fight with Boots Ennis. He a guy that kind of turned his career around type of guy. And if he was a dude that could punch better though, world class punching, like punch, Boots Ennis probably would have been in some trouble. This dude took some Jaron Boots Ennis' best shots, and he just, it wasn't like what we seen before from guys like Thomas Delorme and Sergey Lipinets and, those guys. Custio Clayton. Dudes that scared before they even get in the ring. Custio Clayton was terrified. You know? Boots Ennis didn't have the foot speed that I thought he would have. It seemed like they tried to play it as, he was trying to be Mike Tyson in there, but I see Boots Ennis. He got some work to do, man. He's only 25 years old. That's all I can say. Because Errol Spence, the difference between him when he was coming up is that he wouldn't have really struggled with a Kukuchan. I'm not sure if the younger Errol Spence, pre-accident, pre-Crawford, everything, would have struggled with a Kukuchan. I'm not sure. Spence would have seeked and destroyed Kukuchan. Kukuchan probably would have gave him some good looks. And let's be honest, the last guy that gave Errol Spence some problems was a guy like Kukuchan, a dude from Kazakhstan, who was moving around the ring, styling and profiling on Errol Spence Jr. So, who knows, really? But the hype that Boots Ennis had and him attaching himself to the likes of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford and him potentially beating those guys is the reason why people are so critical of Boots Ennis and his performance. He showed a lot of cockiness going into the fight, right? It wasn't even about Kukuchan. It's like he didn't even watch tape on Kukuchan. And now, going forward, man, he got to know that this shit is real. And when you a guy like Boots Ennis, who really don't necessarily have a belt right now, these guys are going to be watching you. These guys are going to be studying you. And now a lot of these fighters, maybe more guys will be lining up to test that of which Jaron Boots Ennis before he gets even better, right? Maybe some of these guys will be willing to test Boots Ennis now after they've seen some vulnerabilities that Kukuchan exploited. Maybe now, right? But still, Jaron Boots Ennis, I think a guy with a good inside game will give him some problems. A guy with a good mid-range game. A guy with a good outside game. A guy like Terrence Crawford to give Jaron Boots Ennis a problem. Huge problem. Because Crawford can fight from all ranges. A lot of experience. A lot of different things he's doing in there. I don't think Boots Ennis will have the aura that he had against guys like Sergey Lipinets and Thomas Delorme. The aura to where he was Boots Ennis and they was already likely beaten before they even got in the ring type of, not with Terrence Crawford. It'd be a totally different fight. Boots Ennis will have to do some different things. Because Kukuchan, while he has a different style than guys like Spence, Crawford, Thurman, those type of dudes, one would say he's not the caliber of a fighter as those guys. And Kukuchan was supposed to get stopped by Jaron Boots Ennis. He was supposed to get stopped. Boots Ennis' KO streak was supposed to continue. But he went to a decision for the first time. What a shocker. Shocking. A shocking turn of events. But now, this is what makes boxing interesting. Now we're going to see if Boots Ennis learns from this, gets better from this. It's not like he lost the fight, but it's almost like he lost the fight because the expectations for Jaron Ennis is so high. He's the guy that's supposed to beat Crawford. He's the guy that's supposed to beat Spence. He's the uncrowned welterweight king. So the expectations, it's going to be high. Young fighter, big, strong, fast. But we've seen a lot of holes in his game. Overall, though, good night of boxing. Interesting night of boxing. We're going to see what these guys can do moving forward. Demetrius Andrade is 34 years old now. Will he get any better at 34 years old? It's possible. He's been training with his dad since he was a kid. We're going to see. I think Boo Andrade needs to level up. Tank Davis. Now he's going to a fight with Ryan Garcia. Should be interesting to see how that one plays out. Hector Luis Garcia, let's be real. I like Hector. I thought he had a chance in the fight. He showed that he made a good account of himself until, like most people that fight Tank Davis, one shot could just change everything. So, but one thing I noticed, though, is Tank Davis pulled up another dude. They pulled up another guy. This Hector Luis Garcia, he was a featherweight or something like that before he fought Colbert. He was moving up in weight to fight Colbert, and then he beat Gutierrez, right? And now he's going to move up again to make his lightweight debut to fight Tank Davis. Now, I mean, what's up with this? Why they pulling dudes up to fight Tank? They ain't really got no lightweights, but we'll say that for another day. Right? They ain't really got nobody for that. So pull up a guy like Hector Luis Garcia. Tank Davis did his thing. Now he's going into a fight with Ryan Garcia, who was a much bigger guy than Tank Davis. And this is why Tank Davis been coming out with the hints that this guy may be on something. You know, he's big, blah, yada, yada. I mean, hey, we going to see what you got, Tank. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people expect Tank to win a fight. But I think Tank Davis is going to have to use his legs a lot more against Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is fast. He hits hard. Point blank, period. Bigger guy. He's faster. He hits hard. Will Tank be able to hurt Ryan? Probably. Tank Davis' power. He's a pound-for-pound puncher in the sport of boxing. So I expect Tank Davis to, if he lands one of those clean shots, he possibly could hurt Ryan Garcia. We'll see what happens. Should be interesting. Speedy Rashidi, man. Where does Speedy Rashidi go from here? I don't know. This is a huge, huge setback for Rashidi Ellis. Huge setback. He was right there knocking at the door of the top welterweights, and that nobody's coming to answer it. So now he has to turn back, walk back down the street, get in his car, and drive down the road and figure out how could he get himself in that building amongst the top welterweights. Because that was a performance that he was supposed to win. But like I said, man, he didn't switch up the speed of his punches. Everything was the same. It was just the same flash. You know, mid-work. I think that's that mid-work stuff. You know, these guys that's really good on these mitts and stuff. And, you know, this is why them old school trainers, man, they don't. Yeah, man, I don't know. But I'll say that for another day as well. Jaron Ennis. Ooh, was it a bad night in the office? I don't know. He came in at 145 pounds. Pretty light, but he's still young. No excuses for Jaron Boots Ennis, man. You know, Karen Kukachan was a lot better than people expected him to be. The commentary tried to sell it as him trying to survive in a fight, but I didn't feel that was the case. This is this guy's style and approach, and he did a good job really, really pushing Jaron Boots Ennis somewhere that he's never been before, and that was deep waters. So, yeah, the showcase night was supposed to be a showcase fights, and it ended up being a more interesting night than most people thought. So, yeah, man, that's my thoughts on the whole card in general. Everybody showed up, but they didn't show out except for Gervonta Tank Davis. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.